But then it's funny how you get in the moment and you're like, you know what? No, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, right? So future plans. Should I do a marathon? Huh? I'm kidding. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Stay tuned. Ciao, NaturallyKenya here, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kenya. Yes, like the country, and I'm an American girl documenting my life abroad while I live in Rome, Italy, and beyond. And I usually share my experiences, my honest truth about what it's like to live abroad in Italy. So if you haven't already, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and let's get into the video. Today is going to be a bit of a different experience and in the fitness category. So you'll see this under my coffee sit down category on my channel called Un Café with Kenya, because today I wanted to discuss a few things. Well, just one, and that is my experience of running my first half marathon in Italy. Oh yes. So here's the medal. All in your face. No, you know what? Maybe I'll wear it for the video. Yeah, I'm gonna wear it. I'm going to wear it just to take a moment, okay? Here's the medal, all in your face, showing I actually finished and ran 13.1 miles or 21.1 kilometers. So I wanted to run, or not run, look at me, already in the running mood. No, I wanted to discuss a few things in this video, like a bit of background about why I decided to do this, my training, the race day, what it felt like to cross the finish line, and some lessons learned. So let's just hop in. Like, why are we wasting time here? So a bit of background on why I actually thought about running a half marathon. It's been one of my goals for many, many years, to be honest. I was ambitious in 2020 and aimed for like a full marathon. Not sure who I thought I was. Okay, but I got tendonitis along the way. So I told myself, like, let's aim for something a bit smaller at first and try to work out those details, and then let's see. But I will say, like, you really have to listen to your body. And I did feel the first time when I thought I was going to run this full marathon that I was kind of overworking my muscles, honestly. I think it was a bit much, and I could feel it. Also, I wasn't really cross-training, so incorporating like gym, actually lifting weights into my routine, it didn't happen. So now, of course, with this goal accomplished, I see how things work, and it went it went very smooth this time around compared to the first. So for the training, I trained for quite a while. So obviously I had like training for a half marathon is no small feat. I spent months preparing for the race, but a bit more like seriously after the winter holidays. So after I came back from South America over Christmas break and New Year's, and I say maybe I started to seriously run and train maybe in October or so. But I had to organize my workout schedule always, like the week prior, always in advance on Google Calendar. That's where I planned my whole entire life. And I kind of gradually built up my distance and endurance every week. And I also followed this like Nike half marathon training plan. So if you guys are interested in like seeing the structure of that, I guess I'll link it in the description box below. Unfortunately, this is not sponsored, but this is what I followed to actually complete the half marathon. The plan itself is structured, so it includes some long runs, tempo runs, speed runs, and like and a few other like run types in total. And I made sure to incorporate strength training, something I did not do the first time around, and a bit of stretching as well into my routine, which I should have stretched a lot more just in general throughout the process, but I still made it and didn't have any like major injuries. So my thoughts for running though, it's kind of a meditative thing for me. Like it's the meditative state, like unless I feel any pain, I really feel like I have like this mind body kind of like disconnect. Like I know I'm running, but if it's in a comfortable pace, it's like I can kind of go forever, if that makes sense. Okay, not forever. I'll go to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm exhausted, but At a certain speed, it's like I'm very like in my element. I'll say that. So throughout the actual training itself, I trained on the treadmill. So judge if you want. I hit the incline between 2 and 3%, just so it could mimic outdoor conditions. But it had to do with the season. The early part of this year, it gets dark so early. So after work hours, like the sun is already down. So I just hit the incline between 2 to 3%. For all of the runs. And honestly, I think it was a good idea because I felt like it kept my joints fresh for the actual race day. And that being said, it wasn't always easy, but I kind of kept like pushing myself, stayed disciplined with the routine, made sure I got in all the runs that were requested on that plan, and it worked out. It really worked out. So I'm definitely happy that the training prepared me for the real day. So let's go into the race. On race day itself, I woke up super early at 6:30. So that's 3 hours before like my designated start time, which was not at 9:30. And that morning I had like 3 eggs, 40 grams of oatmeal, 2 bananas, and headed to the starting line. So more or less this breakfast meal is nothing new into my routine. You start to realize that the food you eat really will propel you across the finish line. So you can't really play around with your nutrition while you're training, in my opinion, like not just the week before the marathon, but in general. So I cut back on a lot of the social activities and outings that I could, not always. But I got really serious the last week or 2 weeks before because I knew that everything I put in my body was going to be reflected on that day, and it made me super nervous. So I decided to basically like tone it down and focus on, the real goal here, right? So that day I was kind of a mix of emotions. I was excited. I was nervous. I was kind of scared that like I would just miss my group that I was being called with. I don't know, like the course itself began in the business district of Rome, and it follows like this direct route, kind of southwest to the sea, to Ostia in Rome. And so my opinion only, I don't find the course itself to be like the most beautiful thing. It's an asphalt highway with huge trees on the left and right, and you're just kind of running towards the sea. So it's not the most beautiful thing. It's definitely repetitive, just streets and highway. But I mean, the atmosphere at times was really great. You had crowds of people cheering us on every once in a while at a few intersections from the sidelines, and seeing so many people like come out to support the runners, not just because they knew someone, but in general, like people were just there to really support. And that was really incredible and motivating for sure. And it kept me going throughout the race for sure. In terms of like what I decided to wear on the race day, I just wore my armband and I decided to run with my AirPods. And use the Nike Run Club app, also not sponsored. You guys should sponsor me really at this point. And with that half marathon race day guided run. So I put on my 90s pop run playlist. I turned on the guided run. I had my AirPods in. I brought my armband. I actually did not carry water or any energy gels. I really went through those 2 hours on just the energy from breakfast alone. And I made a rule during the run, and this sounds maybe a bit strange, but it was to not change the song that came on Spotify, because I didn't want to start getting so picky about what I was listening to. So I just used my watch itself, my Apple Watch, to monitor my pace the whole race, and somehow I felt like I had more energy at the end. Well, not at the end, but I felt like I had more energy overall. I don't know if it was just like the adrenaline from actually, working up to this goal or what. So my initial goal was to finish between like 2 hours and 15 minutes to 2 hours and 30 minutes. Honestly, I'm racing myself. So it's like, it doesn't really matter when I finish, if that makes sense. Like, I just wanted to finish it, right? But then it's funny how you get in the moment and you're like, you know what? No, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, right? And so somehow about 3 kilometers or a little bit less in, so like less than 2 miles in, I said, you know what? Forget this. I'm about to go for the 2 hour mark. So I sped up on my pace. And there was just one element of the route that was really challenging, and that was around like the 10-kilometer mark or the like 6-mile mark or so, where there's like a harder like hill or so to climb. But to be honest, being prepared on the treadmill at this like 2 to 3% incline, it really did prepare me for that hill. And to be honest, I was able to reach the goal of 2 hours. I made it in just a little over 2 hours. So now let's be honest. When I arrived, this is the finish line part, but when I arrived at the 20-kilometer mark, I had this feeling like wash over me, like, oh my God, I'm about to finish this half marathon. So, like I sped up and had this burst of energy that came out of nowhere at the very end, like the last 2 kilometers. And like, I could feel the wind in my ears. I was just sprinting. I was like, I'm going to make it in 2 hours or a little over 2 hours. Like 2 hours was it. I didn't care what the seconds were. Just, I wanted 2 hours and something. So, okay. So I made it in 2 hours and 40 seconds. And honestly, crossing the finish line was like this incredible feeling. Like I felt like a sense of accomplishment and pride that I never really felt before, about like this plan coming to fruition. Like I tried not to just like collapse there. So I kept walking a bit. It wasn't that I was like, how can I say it? Like I wasn't at my limit for walking. Like I could have walked more. It was just more like processing the whole thing. Like all of the hard work and long runs, they really paid off. And I honestly felt like I had completed something that once seemed like impossible. Like I never thought that I would actually be able to even run that long. And so when I received this medal, I honestly couldn't stop smiling. Like I had this strange feeling, like I wanted to cry, but like I did it. It was so weird. Like I wanted to cry, but then I was like, this is not the time or place. Like we're not going to do that now. But for the marathon, if I do decide to do it, I may cry. So post race, I did go to dinner in Fiumicino. I drank some wine, had some seafood, and then came home and ate pizza that night because look, a girl need carbs, okay? Like I literally needed carbs. And then post race, the day of, like honestly how I felt, like I could still walk and I had some mobility. And then I started to feel a little bit worse during the evening hours. Like that lactic acid buildup is real. But the next day, oh my God, the pain, like it was more like a stiffness more than pain. And that made me really realize like where I need to focus my like lifting abilities, I guess. Like I need to work on my back for sure. I wasn't really putting in my lower back into the workout routine. That needs to be in there because I felt like a bit of muscle soreness as well and stiffness in my back. Then obviously, to be honest, I woke up in the middle of the night and kind of booked like a massage for the first thing in the morning. And it was glorious. It was so glorious. So I didn't do any exercise for like 3 full days. Just the usual like walking, like normal household activities. That's it. And then then after the first 3 and for the next 4, so really the rest of the first week, I returned to like weightlifting. No running though, no running. And then from day 7 on, so like 1 week after the half marathon, I returned to my usual routine, which is what I'm doing now, which is a mix of weights and also weights, upper body, lower body, and running. So that's what I'm doing now. There were like a few lessons learned, like looking back on this experience that I kind of cataloged that I thought I would share with you guys. One of them being like I learned about like a lot about myself and what I'm capable of. Like you really anything can be done with hard work and dedication. Like nothing's off the table. But there also needs to be time for that. So I don't think there could be a large commitment to this if I didn't prioritize it over other elements in my life. So you really need the time and dedication and kind of like a good support system around you that can encourage you along the journey, because running like it's not a solo sport, but it kind of is. Like during the day of the race, like people show up there with teams and everything. I didn't do that. I just literally showed up just to, try to complete it. And I realized that regardless of who you're with, at the end of the day, you're still running alone. Like you want to get to your pace. You want to get to your time goal. So it doesn't really matter how many people are around you, because if I was with a team and someone's slowing me down or I want to go faster, I'm just going to do it, and I don't know. I just feel like that element of the team is so important, like having a support system, yes, but the race itself is run by you. I didn't think about that before the race. I don't know why I thought like people that come there with teams, they're all together. Some people are together, but a lot of people I saw broke apart and they were like, I'm going to make my pace goal. Like I want to make my time. So I didn't think about that, but that's also an element too. So I will say that like I realized that, you know, with a little bit of time and dedication, you can achieve things that seem impossible. I never thought I would run a half marathon. When I was younger, I definitely ran like cross country. I was pretty good at it. Me, my twin, we would always get like first and second place. But I never thought that I would commit to something like really like register and try to finish. So there's that. And then I also learned the like important process of like your body is really capable of doing more than you think, and to not get really too caught up in the outcome. Like these small increases in your pace or your how you feel after you run, like it's not just about like crossing a finish line, okay, in this case for the half marathon, but it is about the hard work and dedication you put in every day. And it's so cliche, but honestly, if you show up every day, you're going to see some type of improvement. So it's not just about crossing the finish line. Like everyone can improve in running. Like honestly, when I began my training for the half marathon, I was really confident in my abilities to run 13.1 miles. Like I knew I could, but at the same time, it almost seemed like a little bit impossible until I was able to run 10. I was like, wait, 13 is around the corner, you know? Like I had never run that distance straight before without stopping. I wasn't even sure if I could really complete it, but I didn't let that negativity get in. Like I knew I could do it, but it was just like going to take time. So I realized like self-doubt was not necessary. Like it really just holds you back from doing anything. And like, I really need to have the faith in myself to train. And it just worked out. So like I said before, by putting in the work and staying committed, you will overcome any doubts and accomplish anything you want in life. So, I never really thought it was possible, but you know, here I am. And, like I said before, consistency is key. Just show up, set the boundaries, and go for it. You know, like you really just have to have patience and consistency. So, it requires a lot of time and dedication, and it's not something that can be achieved overnight. Like that's another thing. Like you can't just wake up and be like, you know what, today I'm going to run a half marathon. Okay, you can, but it's not going to be pretty. Okay, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be nice. And it does require like a consistent effort over like a longer period of time. So just be patient with yourself if you're also thinking about running one, and stay consistent in your training, and you could be able to build up your endurance and complete the race too. So just to close out and for my future goals, I don't know what to say. Like that's it for today's video. Like I hope that my experience has like inspired you to set your own fitness goals that you can work towards achieving. If I can do it, certainly you can do it. And just remember, with some dedication, some hard work, anything is possible. So future plans. Should I do a marathon? Huh? I'm kidding. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Do you guys want to see me run a marathon? Like, honestly, sometimes I feel like I've come this far. You might as well just keep on going. Like, just finish it. Just go for it. So maybe I will. Maybe I'll have that upload too. So, of course, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And leave a comment down below if you have reached any of your fitness goals this year, or if you have any for this year that you're working on. I would love to hear about it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick like half marathon recap, which is not a part of my usual like upload schedule. And what I talk about. But of course, like I told you all, I really wanted to introduce a few elements of versatility on my channel, let's say. So as you all are aware, I usually upload on Sundays and sometimes Thursdays. And thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Ciao, y'all.